Hello YouTube and welcome back to the life of a virtual airline pilot. I'm your host Captain Mac, and in case you haven't noticed right off the bat, I'm a little bit excited today, and let me tell you why. There's actually a ton of reasons why, but let's just start with the first one. What you don't know is I just uploaded, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes ago, I just uploaded episode number 7 in season 2 here. So the thing is, and I've mentioned this before, I record videos in advance, and I haven't recorded a video in actually like 3 weeks, and so I'm excited because I actually kind of miss it. I have a lot of fun doing these, and so yeah, that's part of the reason I'm excited. I'm excited about a bunch of other stuff too, and we'll talk about some of that. In fact, we're going to talk about all kinds of things today because I'm just in a chatterbox kind of mood. So let's see. I say we dive right on in here because we don't want to spend too much time here on the website. There's not a whole lot going on, but we are going to be doing something different today, and I want to show that to you because this is part of the other stuff I'm going to talk about. It's going to be fun. All right, so right now we're in LAX. Or at LAX, however you like to put it. And our next flight is LAX to MMLP, which is somewhere down in Mexico. I'm not sure where. Let's hop in here, though. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Let's go to all bids. Now, we're going to take a little detour. And there's a number of reasons I'm doing this, not the least of which is just to show you that you can. Because you may recall, we're in the middle of this mission right now. All right? So, in the middle of this mission, we're going to take a detour. We're going to go somewhere else and come back later and pick right back up where we left off for the mission, basically. That's exactly what we're going to do. All right? So, what I want to do right now is I actually want to fly over to Denver. And there's 2 reasons I want to fly over to Denver. I'll tell you one of them right now. I have a request from one of you guys to do a flight into Vail. And I also have a request to do a flight into Memphis. Now, we're going to do the Memphis flight later, probably when we can fly either 757s or 777s, maybe even our 747s, because Memphis is also the hub for UPS and FedEx, and so I want to fly something big in there. So we're going to do Memphis later, but for now, we can do the flight into Vail. So we're going to fly over to Denver, and then we're going to fly from Denver to Vail, and it's going to be an awesome approach, very difficult up there. And that's going to lead us to something else. And then we're going to go back to Denver, and then we're going to hop down to Phoenix. And I know some of you are going, oh, God, Phoenix again. Wait for it. It gets better. We're going to go from Phoenix up to Page. Now some of you are going, oh, please, God, don't. Now, listen, I've actually had a request by several of you to do some more flights in the King Air. So, now I know I could do flights in the King Air in other places. There's a reason that I'm going back to Phoenix and then up to Page. And when we get to that point, I'm going to tell you all about it, but for now, I'm not going to. Aren't I a nice guy? So, as you can see, all of these are all our flights for our mission, all these QXE flights, right? But we want to go to Denver right now. So you can see I've already gone ahead and booked it. And since the mission was in there, it made it the next flight in the list, and then I booked from there to KEGE, which is Vail, and then back to Denver, and then down to Phoenix, and up to PGA. I got them all booked in there, and they're all in order. But, coughing in your face. See, you missed that, didn't you? If I just go into ACARS and select Get Bid, it's going to grab this one right here. Okay, and I don't want to do that. So what I need to do is either write down this number here, or I can just copy it and then paste it in, and I'll show you that when we get to ACARS here. And that'll be my next flight. So we're going to go to Denver next. That's where we're headed. And so I'm not even going to pull the information on it. We're going from LA to Denver. So I'm going to be briefing charts and all that stuff anyway. So I think we'll probably be good to go if we just get scooting on over there, right? Because there's not much else we really look at on here, is there? No, I'm trying to remember. Brain's not working. Nope, we're good. We're going to leave it at that. So what do you say we hop on over into our sim, get things fired up, and get rocking and rolling? Alright, so just so we know how to do this real quick before we hop in the sim here, you remember that I copied the flight number down, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and I'm going to paste that flight number in here, and then I'm going to click on Get Flight rather than Get Bid. If I click Get Bid, you can see the little pop-up says Retrieve Next Bid Pirate Data, but I don't want the next bid. I want the one that's way down near the bottom of the list. Excuse me. So, get the flight here. There it is, American Airlines 3671 from LA to Denver. We are in LA, so we're good to go. So 2 hours and 10 minutes for our flight today. Once we get up and rolling here, My brain doesn't want to work again. Once we get going here, we will start ACARs once we're in the sim and all that good stuff. That's what I was really trying to say. Really easy there, right? So let's hop in the sim and get going. Okay, quick look at our airport ground chart here for Los Angeles. We are at gate 49, I believe it is. So it's in Terminal 4, so that's going to put us right out here on the end. And our weather today is the wind's 230 at 10. So we could take 24 or 25 left or right. Doesn't really matter. But since we're here and 25 right is the closest, seems to me that's probably the best runway to take. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop out here, probably take Charlie 9 over here to, this looks like Baker here. Yep, there you go. You can tell up here, Baker all the way up to the end at Baker 1, hanging right, and then that'll put us on the runway there. So that's going to be our taxi route for this particular trip. And so it is with great sadness that I must inform you, as many of you surely already know, Aerosoft did not release the CRJ on September 30th as planned. Now I have two different thoughts on this. My first thought is, okay, it's not ready. There's bugs in it. They're trying to fix them. Better to release a good product that's ready to rock and roll than a product that's going to need updates and fixing on an immediate and regular basis. Okay, I respect that. I really do. However, here's my issue. How long ago did this start? Anybody know? If you look at the forum threads, it started 5 years ago. Okay. Now let's be realistic about this. What do you think is more complex to program? Let's use that term. What is a more complex program? A CRJ 700 or a Boeing 777? Just saying. Okay, I understand they're working out bugs. Not trying to badmouth them. In fact, in no way am I badmouthing them. I appreciate the fact that they are waiting to release the product as a complete and ready to go package rather than something that still needs work. I do appreciate that. And I also know that it didn't actually originally start with Aerosoft. It was like one of their subsidiaries or something like that. But I have to confess, I'm a little frustrated. I was really looking forward to getting into that thing. I even have a friend who flies CRJs in the real world for SkyWest Airlines, who lives not too far from me, about an hour away. Once they release it, he's going to come over here. We're going to do a video and go through actual, no kidding, real world procedures using his checklists, the whole shebang, and really get into just how accurate is it. And I was really excited about that, and he was too, actually. He was very excited about it. And so we're not going to be able to do that. And so I'm a little bummed about that. I am. And to say otherwise would be a lie and unfair to you. That all being said, again, I do appreciate the fact that they're not releasing a product that is not ready to go. So, something to be said for that. So, we are stuck here for now with our default CRJ. And as I'm talking, I banged into my rudder pedals down here. I don't know if you heard that bang. But anyway, so we're still in our default CRJ. I am not going back to that Wilco. Not going to happen. No way. Sorry. Not happening. We're doing American Airlines. I could have looked for a repaint. I decided not to. Why? We're not going to spend that much time outside the aircraft. A little bit when we have our little climb music and stuff like that maybe. But you know what? A white livery looks just fine to me. I'm okay with that. And believe it or not, complete brain fart, has a CRJ 200 that is still painted white. So it's actually, I think maybe it's Mesa Airlines. I don't know. I don't care. Who cares? We're going to fly the white livery today, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, we already talked about it. We're going over to Denver. We got a pretty long flight ahead of us, so what do you say we jump in and get started? Bam, there we go. As always, we need to pop up our ACARs. It popped up on the other screen here. Let me pull it over for you. Oh, there it is. That was probably a little quick, right? You can see I already set everything up. We're going to fly at 29,000 feet today. This aircraft will go higher, could go higher for this route, but we're not going to. So there you have it. LA to Denver, we're all set, ready to rock and roll. I've already put in a previous route in there. I put in my altitude, which means all we need to do is hit start flight. Yes, it is the proper model. We're good to go there. Shrink that down, and let's get this show on the road. Where's my checklist? Here it is. Almost forgot I have a checklist now. Is this the right one? Yep, here we go. Some of you are going, oh, Captain Mac, get it together, get it together. Okay, I'm getting it together. All right, pre-flight, battery master off. Let's hop up here and take care of that. Battery master is actually on because we've already started the APU. So beacon lights need to be on because the APU is on. Chocks, we don't actually have any, but they're in place. Parking brake is set. Battery master then goes on. Nav lights go on. There they are. Nav lights. You like that little? That was pretty cool, right? No? Not feeling it, guys. Seatbelt, no smoking signs on. Here we go. My brain's going to be a little slow functioning today. Logo lights on at night. It's not nighttime, so no logo lights. Wing lights not needed. Power fuel door open. Check on MFD. Yeah. Not happening in here because we don't have any of that stuff. APU is started and APU generator is on with gens 1 and 2 off. Hydraulic switches are all to auto. We can't do anything with those anyway. Charts are on board and checked, sorta, somewhat, so to speak, because it's a simulator for those of you who weren't aware. What else we got here? We can't do anything with the FMC. So basically that takes us right to our before push and start checklist. Doors closed and checked. Let's hop outside here. And my computer will absolutely be just a skosh on the slow side today. I've got a billion different things going at once, so forgive me for that. But I think we'll be alright. We'll get through it. Yaw damper needs to come on at this point. Brain doesn't want to work as usual. There's the yaw damper. Does it not work from this view? Yaw damper. You know what? I bet it's up here. Flight director, yaw damper. There we go. Yaw damper's on. Forgive me. It's been a little while since I've flown. It's been like 3 weeks. I haven't flown anything in that time, by the way. I haven't flown anything, which is, you know, I'm having withdrawals here. Let's see. Panel is set. Display control panel set to barometric pressure. I'm going to just hop on in here to this guy because it's much easier, and our pressure right now is 2966. Come on down. And it might have even gone down a little since then. But what else? Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up here. Set nav source is going to be GPS for us. We'll click on that. Radio panel is good. Altitude set, initial altitude. Remember, we have to be. Well, I haven't briefed the departure yet, have I? You'll see on departure that we need to be at or below a couple of altitudes on our way out. So we're going to start out with 3,000 as our first altitude, and we'll be good to go there. And initial heading will be runway heading once we get on the runway. So that's it. We're ready to go to engine start. I know I'm a little behind. Forgive me, guys. Bear with me. I will get into the flow here. So let's do that. Let's get rolling. Prepare for pushback and departure. We need the nose to go to the right and the tail to the left. American Airlines is us. Nose right, tail left. We already said that. No, I don't want to start before pushback. And let's get this party started. So seriously, it's been 3 weeks since I've flown, so I probably sound like an idiot. I'm a little rusty. Things are kind of all over the place. I will get it together here quickly, I promise. The good news is 3 weeks without flying, and I still kind of know what I'm doing, right? So there's something to be said for that. No, nothing. Crickets. I'm just waiting for this guy. Killing time until this guy's actually ready to push the airplane back. But they do take their time, don't they? You know what? While he's doing that, something I forgot to do, because we're in LA. Yeah. Let's pop up the air traffic manager, and we're going to bring that count down to 50. Yeah. And follow along as we perform our safety demonstration. KLAX to KDEN, and let's optimize. Rated 0, huh? Probably still looking for him. Parking brakes. Your seatbelt. Parking brakes off. All engines clear. Start that wheel. Insert the metal fitting into the buckle. Okay, we're pushing back. Just to fit snugly. All right. Yep. Let's get pushed back here. And apparently there's still no aircraft in the air. Maybe I turned my AI traffic off or something. I don't know. No, because there's all kinds of airplanes on the ground. So bear with me a second here. We'll do our startup as soon as my son tells me what he needs. What do you need? Wow, you're
Emergency
taking way too
exits are
long. What do
marked
you
with
mean?
a red exit sign overhead. We know this may come as a shock to some of you, but we really do put exit signs by the exit doors.
You gonna tell me something?
Operation
Can I
and
wait a
use
minute?
of exits,
Okay.
slides, and rafts
He's 4.
are illustrated
Alright, let's
in
hop
the
up to
safety
the overhead
information
here.
card.
He's
And
sitting
for
there
those of
waiting
you that are too
patiently now.
stupid to read,
We're gonna start
there
the
are
right engine first, so
pictures.
continuous ignition switch goes
Please
on,
locate the
engine
two
start
exits
switch goes
nearest you,
on,
keeping in
and
mind
if we have a
that the
look down
closest
here, we can
exit
see
may
she's
actually
already
be
spinning up,
behind
fuel
you.
has already come
And
on its
remember,
own, so we're good
they
to
are
go
the
on
doors
that.
with the
So we'll
big
just wait till
sign
she
above
starts.
them that
Figure
says
out what you're gonna tell me yet?
This aircraft is equipped with aisle path lighting, which is located on the floor in the aisle. Should cabin visibility be impaired, the exit path will be illuminated. This is for your
You want me to
convenience,
think about whether
and
or
in
not to go to
reality will
McDonald's?
most likely be useless,
But I'm not
since
going
any
to work
visibility
today.
problems in the cabin are probably going to be the result of a fire, in which case you'll
In
probably
case you haven't
burn
noticed, my
dialogue
4-year-old
before
wants
you
to go to
get locate the
McDonald's.
lighting on the floor
I'll
anyway.
think about it. Go out there.
That being
Close
said,
the door quietly
why you would
behind you,
need lighting
please.
is beyond us, as there
Because
is
I'm
only one
recording.
aisle in this aircraft, and if you were able to
Ah,
walk
God bless
anywhere
children, right?
else,
Okay,
then
so
you are
engine
no
number 1
longer
is being
inside the
started
airplane,
as we
and the
speak,
aisle
and
lighting will make
you know,
little
I left
difference.
those stupid labels on so you can
White
see all the
lights
aircraft
lead
coming in
to
there.
red
I'll turn
lights,
those off in a second.
indicate you have
For those of you who
reached
maybe don't know how,
or
I'll show you
near
how to
an
do it.
emergency
You can
exit.
turn those labels on and off.
Please,
Park and brake is
don't make
set.
us
So let me
explain the
hit the
emergency
Alt
exits
key, and if
again.
I go up here to Options,
The
Settings, and
cabin pressure
Display,
is controlled for your
and then under
comfort.
Traffic, you can see I've
However,
actually got
should
it
it
cranked
change
all the way up to see
radically
it
in
says
flight,
Show Aircraft
whether
Labels.
from a
Click
bump,
that off, hit OK,
pilot error, or any
and
other
let everything
unexpected
reload. And now
traumatic
you see you
event,
don't see the labels
oxygen
out there anymore. Those
compartments will
aircraft are still
automatically
there,
open
just
in
no
the
labels.
panel
So we'll
above
turn
your
that
seat.
off. Let this
Reach
thing
up,
reload
pull the mask
and
to your
no,
face.
we don't
This
want
action
that.
will start the flow of oxygen.
It's
Place
not
the mask over both your mouth and nose. Secure
it's not
with an
connecting,
elastic
or it's not
band,
deleting
as
any
your flight
aircraft.
attendant is demonstrating. Tighten by pulling
That's kind
on
of
the
weird,
ends
isn't
of
it?
the elastic bands. Even though oxygen is flowing, the plastic band may
I'm
not
telling you, I'm
influence
having nothing but
it.
problems
If you
today.
have
I'm
little
gonna turn
children
that off.
or are seated next to someone who needs assistance, place the mask
Restart
on
it.
yourself first, then offer assistance. We know how much you love your children.
And let's see if it works
But
this
if you
time.
attempt to put the mask on them first, you will likely pass out due to lack of oxygen in the air
Refresh.
at 40,000 feet. And they are unlikely to help you.
Are you guys enjoying this? I
That's
might
just
edit
one
this part
really
out.
long sentence.
Last count 81.
Anyway,
Optimize.
after all, you do
There
love
we
them,
go.
but
Now
you will
it's
be
working. I might
unconscious,
leave that in
and your
just so you can
children
see.
will not
Sometimes you
help
gotta
you.
restart
They
the
will
thing.
just let you
Okay.
die.
We haven't turned our generators on yet. We might want to do that because we're still running
Continue
the
using
APU
the
here. So
mask
Gen 1 and
until
2
advised
on.
by a uniformed crew
And
member to
engine
remove
start is
it,
complete.
or
So let's go to
unless
our
the plane
after
has
start
crashed, at which point it
checklist
doesn't
slash
matter anyway.
taxi before takeoff checklist.
Your individual life vest. It's located in a pouch
Yeah,
beneath your
my
seat.
thing's a
Should
mess here.
use become necessary, remove it from the plastic
You can hear the
packet,
paper
slip it
crumpling.
over
You
your
can
head
hear that
and
I'm an
pull
absolute
downward on the
disaster.
front
Okay,
panel.
APU gen off and
Bring
then
the strap
APU off.
around your
Those are
waist
done.
and
Fuel
insert it
doors
into
good.
the buckle in front of you.
Left and right.
Pull on the loose
AC
strap
packs
until
are on.
the
We can't
vest
do anything with
fits
those.
snugly,
Anyway, we are going to turn
just
the
like
anti-ice
any other
on,
life
and I
vest
think
you would
that's
put
later
on.
in the checklist, but there you
As
have
you
it.
leave the aircraft,
Flaps set to 20.
inflate
Let's
the
hop down
vest by
here.
pulling down
We don't need
firmly on the
flaps
red
set to
tabs.
full. That would be
But
my
do
son.
yourself a favor and wait
Nothing
until
on the
you're actually outside of
FMS
the
or
aircraft.
FMC, whatever
The
you want to
vest
call
may
it.
be
Parking
orally
brake's good.
inflated by
Taxi
blowing
light needs to
into
go
the
on at
inflation
this point.
tubes at shoulder level.
Taxi light
Each
coming
vest
on.
has a rescue light on the
Transponder,
shoulder
we're
for
going to stay
night
at
use,
1200.
which is
Strobe
water
lights need to come
activated.
on now.
By
That's
pulling
these
the
guys here.
light
Logos can
to,
stay
or
off,
the, by
and wing lights can
removing
go on for
the
now.
pull
That's
to
fine.
light tab located on the
And
battery.
that is
Though we are
it. Now we
flying
can
nowhere
taxi out
near
forward.
water today, we still
So
have to
we're going to roll
explain
up
this
here.
to
We're
you
going
for
to take
some
our
reason.
first right and then hop on
In
to
preparation for takeoff, please ensure that your seat backs,
what do we call it there?
tray tables are in their full upright
Baker.
and stored
Bravo.
position.
I said Baker.
Even though this has absolutely
Baker,
nothing to
Bravo.
do with anything, we are going
one or
to
the other.
continue
I'll
to
probably use
demand
them
that you meet this
interchangeably.
requirement.
So,
Ensure that your seatbelts
all right,
are securely
guys.
fastened, since we
Let's
have
get
now
rolling
shown
out
you
here,
how.
and we can
And
take care
all
of
your
our
carry-on
departure
items
briefing,
are securely stowed.
and
Federal aviation
we'll get
regulations
this
require
party
customers
on
to comply
down the
with the
road.
lighted customer information signs, other posted signs, and crew member instructions. Please observe the fastened seatbelt and other lighted signs until they have been turned off by the captain. Thank you for your attention. We will be airborne shortly.
And we'll be taking the Holtz 9 RNAV departure off of runway 25 right today. A quick look here, we can see that our initial climb out will be at heading 249 degrees until we reach Docker right here, and we need to be at or below 3,000 feet at Docker. And then it's left turn to 218 degrees towards, what do we call it? Oh, sorry, there's two of them here. Brain stopped functioning for a second. That'll happen sometimes. To Wheeler, and at or below 5,000 at Wheeler, and then 216 degrees to Schafe, I guess we could call it, which we hop back down over here now to Schafe, and then at Schafe, a left turn 153 degrees to PV, another left turn 095 degrees to Holtz, and then from Holtz we will continue on course. And there's your departure briefing. Alright, so here we are at the end of the runway, and for those of you who enjoy that safety briefing, that was my lovely wife who did that for us. I've actually had a couple of requests to post that as a separate audio file, and my wife has asked that I allow her the opportunity to redo it first because she wants it to sound a little smoother. So that's what I'm going to do, but we will absolutely post that for you guys here, just a short little video with nothing but the safety brief in it, and that should be a good time. So let's go ahead and take care of our, let's see, we got all, actually we've done all our before takeoff checklist. Everything's ready and set to go, I think, with the one exception of, let's bring that stabulator up just a little bit. Doesn't need to come up that much. 1.0 is actually good. Back to the primary page there. We're ready to go, other than let's make sure I can hop over a little here. I don't see anybody coming in, so let's get on out there and get this takeoff started. And we'll go through our usual, I hate when those pop up. We'll go through our usual immediate after takeoff items, and then once we've established the climb and we've got ourselves on course, then we'll worry about taking care of the checklist, because that's the right way to do it. Basically, basic rules of aviation: always fly the airplane first. That's the first thing you do. Take care of flying the airplane, and then you know, even in an emergency, fly the airplane first and then worry about other stuff. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fly the airplane. Some of these things will come natural, like gear up, flaps up, and whatnot, but we're going to fly the plane, and then we'll worry about, probably set our autopilot before we yeah, I'm thinking while I'm working here. I'm going to just let it slowly roll forward here because I need to set the heading for the runway, which I bypassed twice already. Come on. Come on up. Okay, and then we're going to set our speed to 250 because I forgot to do that. We've got plenty of runway to work with. And remember now, what did we learn? That's not really a question you're supposed to answer. Let's go ahead and bring the throttles up here. Let's get this bird in the air, and then we'll finish doing that. We've got our speed set at 240 right now. That'll work for now. Before we engage the autopilot, we want to roll the throttles back on our own. There's 80 knots right there. We would cross-check. We got a little crosswind in here. Coming up on 120. We're going to rotate at about 150 right there. Gently back. She climbs quick. Really quick. Alright. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Speed's coming up quick, so let's go ahead and bring the flaps up to 8 really quick. Oh, that trim works, let me tell you. That trim works. Alright. Yeah, we're plenty fast. Let's go ahead and bring the flaps all the way up. Start rolling that throttle back right now. There she goes. Come on back down. Don't want to overspeed, so we'll go ahead and increase our rate of climb, which is what we would do anyway. Alright, throw a little more trim in there. Speed set, nav set, altitude set, autopilot engage. And that's the easy way to do it, of course. And where on earth is this thing going? What the heck? Wow. You know what? I don't even want to know where it's going now. I'm angered by this. There's no reason for it to be going anywhere. Let's pull up our GPS and see what it's doing. Yeah, it's going straight to EED, which is stupid because I put the stupid, you know how obnoxious that is? I put in all the waypoints by hand for that stinking departure, okay? Every one of them by hand, folks. You know how hard that is to do with the FSX flight planner? It's insane. It took me like 20 minutes to put those things in by hand. I kid you not, because you got to search for them amidst all the other. Oh, it's so obnoxious. And I put them all in, and then it just defaulted back to the original flight plan. Oi, this flight's annoying me. I'm sorry. I was actually really excited about this. Now I'm a little annoyed. So it's going to turn straight to EED. So our departure briefing was a complete waste of time because I'm not going to try and hand fly and figure out where those waypoints are with this chintzy GPS on here. Oh my goodness gracious! All right, you know what? Let's do the after takeoff checklist here. Landing lights need to go off when we get above 10,000. We all know that. That'll be taken care of. The altimeter to standard after we cross 18,000, monitor speed and monitor fuel. That's it for the after takeoff / climb checklist. So I guess with that, boy, I tell you what, that is just so frustrating. It really is. It shouldn't have done that. There was no reason for it, and I'm frustrated by it, and I apologize for it. But it is what it is. So we're off to EED, and I guess you could imagine that we won't have the proper arrival procedures either. So yay for us, right? Let's hop on outside the aircraft and let's enjoy a little bit of obligatory elevator music to help soothe our nerves. And welcome to our cruising altitude of flight level 290. As far as cruise checklist is concerned, it's actually it's part of the climb checklist. Thank you. I can actually talk, I promise. So same thing, you know, once we went above 10,000, landing lights off, barometric pressure set to standard or 29 or 9 or 2 once we crossed 18,000, and then we're going to monitor our speed and our fuel as we cruise along. So that's it. I mean, there's nothing else to do up here, so we might as well enjoy a little bit more music, right? Alright, coming up on top of descent here, so let's take care of this descent checklist really quick so we can get started. The first thing we need to do is check our annunciator panel and make sure there are no cautions. Of course, we can't do that in this aircraft because it sucks. And then altitude and speed limits check, and that is it. So we've already taken care of the arrival briefing. We're a little off course from that arrival because of this wonderful default FSX nonsense, but it is what it is, so we're just going to keep on pushing forward. So with all that in mind, it's actually going to be a relatively slow descent because we don't have all that far to go from 29,000 feet. So let's go ahead and get started here, and let's crank the altitude down a little bit, but I want to bring that vertical rate of descent back up. We're going to do about 1,200 feet per minute at the moment, and then we'll just keep an eye on it as we go down. That's basically the easiest way to deal with it. I'm just going to bring it down to 7,500 for now. That should be good to go as far as I'm concerned. So that's it. We're into the descent. Quick, easy, lemon squeezy. Let's go ahead and carry on. And the approach briefing then. We're going to be taking ILS runway 7 today. The frequency is 111.55 with a identifier of India, Delta, Zulu, or Z for those of you in the European area, and Golf. There you have it, and that's what this Morse code actually means, is IDZG. Our initial approach fix is going to be out here at Sarah. We'll come in at 9,000 feet, and we'll start our descent very shortly after that. And technically our final approach point is way down here at Taylor. Depending on how things go, we might intercept the glide slope and localizer quite a bit before that, but that's alright. So we want to stay at or above 7,000 feet until we get to Taylor. At Taylor we're supposed to be at 7,000 feet. And then we just continue on down. It's a 3-degree glide slope. You guys have seen these many a times now, so there's not a whole lot to talk about as far as this is concerned. You know that this is runway lighting, or approach lighting and runway lighting information. It does have the side-by-side PAPI lights, which indicate a 3-degree glide slope as well. The touchdown elevation is 5,350 feet above sea level, and there's no slope whatsoever, so that's good. And we have 3,658 feet of grooved runway, which is, or I'm sorry, 3,658 meters. That'd be a short runway if it was feet. Grooved at 46 meters wide. And again, this is elevation information for using your DME. So at 13.4 miles from IDZG, be at 9,000 feet. That's right here is Sarah. I'm sorry, actually Sarah is 14.2. That's right here at your initial descent point. And then at 11 miles, 8,230 feet, which would be right about here, because this is 10 miles in case anybody's wondering. I say that sometimes. It kind of sounds weird. In case you weren't paying attention, there's your 10-mile marker there. So 11 is going to be right about here. So that's 8,230 feet. 9 is right here, and that's actually kind of funny. But anyway, 75, 90, and so on down and in. And I'm just sort of blathering on now, not really sure why my brain doesn't work. So let's take a look at our missed approach procedures. Climbing out at 082 degrees to 5,900 feet right turn. Actually, it's a climbing right turn. My apologies. At 5,900 feet, which is just barely above airport elevation, actually. When we sit here, our touchdown is 5,350 feet. So you climb initially to 5,900 feet, and as you hit 5,900 feet, you start a right turn to heading 193, intercepting the 202 degree radial from DVV, which is, let's look up here, DVV is actually mile high. It's not Denver. Alright, so here's our little graphic. It's a little hard to see because it's printed small on here. But once you hit 5,900 feet, you start that right turn until you intercept the 202 degree radial for the mile high VOR, which is at 114.7. And then you're going to follow that on out to Signy, I guess that is, Signy, right out here, and climbing to 11,000 feet. And then at Signy, you would enter a right-hand holding pattern until otherwise instructed by ATC. You guessed it, we're not using ATC. So if we have to do a go-around, basically we'll start following this procedure, but then we'll just make it downwind and redo our approach. And that is the approach briefing. Any questions? Oh yeah, you can't ask any. Okay, see you out there. Alright, here we are on short final now. We're just about done getting the aircraft ready for landing, so let's go ahead and take care of this approach briefing. The nav ILS is clearly set, so we're good to go on that. I keep wanting to say barometric pressure because it says baro on here, but it's the altimeter. The altimeter's set, and this thing doesn't look like it's tracking the ILS, so we're going to have to deal with that. Let's just deal with that right now. I have no idea why it's not tracking on the ILS, because it should be locked onto it. It's got the frequency tuned in. It's got it all, whatever. I hate this airplane. Alright, as we continue on down here, let's go ahead and bring full flaps in, turn the speed setting off, and we'll just set our throttles right there for a minute. We're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and finish this approach briefing. Landing lights are on. We're below 10,000 feet. Flaps are fully extended, gear is down, and we need to set the go-around altitude, which is 11,000 feet. So let's get that in there. Just a little low there. Remember, fly the plane first. So that's my priority, fly the airplane, right? So we're getting just a little low there. We want to watch our descent rate is what we want to watch there. And it was just a little bit high, so bring it in there. We're looking pretty good. Bring in just a little bit of throttle. And there we go. That's a pretty good descent rate. Maybe just a skosh low, and we're drifting just a little bit here, but overall we're looking pretty good. So, and yeah, see, I shortened up a couple of things on this video. Well, we did our approach briefing. I waited a little longer before coming on here for the approach checklist, just because, you know, I didn't want to drag it out too much. So looking good here coming in. Yeah, not much else to say. Let's just go ahead and take it on in. We're hand flying right now, in case you didn't notice me taking off the autopilot there. So let's see how well we can hand fly this. There's our 500. Looks like our wind shifted back just a little bit. So I'll go ahead and shut my mouth and let's bring it on in here.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 20. 10. 10.
Yeah, we didn't float near as bad on that one, did we? Fantastic. Much better landing than the last few that we've had. And as we're rolling out here, let's just take a quick look at our airport ground chart. We're going to shoot for Bravo 4. I know I said Baker when we departed LA, but it's Bravo. So Bravo 4 exit is what we're going to shoot for. It's a high-speed exit. And ideally, we'll just take Bravo 4 all the way down. We're actually going to Concourse C over here, Concourse Charlie. So we'll take Bravo 4 all the way down until we hit Golf, and then Golf up to Charlie November and into our parking space, which I'm not sure what our parking space is going to be yet. To be honest with you, today I think I'm just going to grab the first empty spot that I come to, because this whole site is supposed to be, keeping in mind that default FSX traffic doesn't always do what it's supposed to, or AI traffic. But anyway, this is supposed to be all the commuters over here, and that's us. So there you have it. Let's get her into the gate. Alright, so now that we know where we're going, as we're taxiing on in here, normally I kind of break away, especially for a longer taxi like this, but I haven't been on here in a little while, and so I figure, what the heck, let's talk for a minute. There's a couple things, you know, I gotta tell you, I'm getting really frustrated here. I'm a little frustrated with some add-ons. You know, most of them are really good, don't get me wrong. This is in no way meant to badmouth anybody, but it's just a little frustrated with some add-ons that Wilco Next Gen not cutting it for me. That's not good. That's not good equipment. I paid money for that, and it don't work right. I don't like that. I have an issue with that. That being said, I'm a little frustrated. Well, not a little. I'm a lot frustrated with FSX. I told you it's been 3 weeks since I've flown, but it's not the first time I've tried to fly in 3 weeks. I actually tried to do this video last week, and my FSX kept crashing, and it just issue after issue after issue. And I gotta tell you, this is getting a little ridiculous. Where am I going with this? Wow. I'm not trying to toot a horn here, but I have joined with a company called Next Generation Interactive Software. You may or may not have heard of them. You've probably heard the term by now. It's kind of been all over the place. There was a recent interview in FlightSim.com and some other stuff of the next generation flight simulator. And where am I going with this? Well, here's the thing. FSX is awesome to a point, but it's outdated and it's frustrating, and I'm kind of over it, right? And I'm sure a lot of us are. I know that Lockheed Martin just released version 3 today. You know what I'm talking about. And that's great, but it's the same technology. Yeah, it's better than this because they managed to clean some stuff up, but what is it? 32-bit, right? Yeah, hasn't changed. There is a 64-bit sim out there. I'm trying not to really voice the names of these sims. I guess it doesn't matter. It's X-Plane. We know what it is. X-Plane is pretty cool, but basically we've got new technology and it's not being used, in my opinion. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this adventure to create a new flight simulator. That's what we're doing, next generation flight simulator. And so I'm going to keep going forward with that. It's interesting to me. There's been some really mixed reviews as far as what I've seen anyway, or some mixed feelings about. You gotta watch this guy from Southwest over here. He's gonna come and taxi right up in my face, isn't he? You know what? It's gonna be. Let's give him a second. I'm really surprised to see the mixed feelings about a next generation flight simulator. You've had everything from people really excited about it, which I'm really excited about it, to people who think it's not possible. I guess is the word. They think it's impossible, which I disagree. I don't think it's impossible at all. If he turns this way, we'll have to hang a hard right here. And then, surprisingly, some people are coming on there saying that, oh, it's just a big scam, trying to get money from you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, wow, really? I'm really surprised by that. I would think that everybody out there really would be interested in seeing a developer put forth a flight simulator that takes advantage of, the capabilities of our modern systems. Let's start with the fact that it should be 64-bit. It should have a complete world, and when I say a complete world, what I mean by that is everything in the world should be modeled. Now, maybe, don't misunderstand me, maybe not every airport needs to be, like this one here, this is a third-party add-on. So, yeah, sure, you can do add-ons and stuff, but at the very least, cities should be laid out like the cities are supposed to be laid out, terrain should look like the terrain's supposed to look, and on the list goes. And so I was really surprised to see so many individuals that basically seem like they're uninterested in a new flight simulator. And for me, wow, I'm really definitely interested in a new flight simulator. I mean, I'm over this. Why do I have to fight with my flight simulator every time I want to do a flight? And listen, let's understand something here. I don't have an off-the-shelf system. I've got a $2,500 custom-built PC with a I'm not real good with hardware. It's a I forget who made it, but it's a i7 processor, i7 4790 processor. It's got a GTX 980 overclocked GPU. That's the graphics card. Okay, and I mean this thing's raring to go. I got a freaking beast of a system here. Okay, this is no off-the-shelf something I bought over at the local electronics store. I had this thing custom built, and you guys have seen it get choppy. I mean, come on now, that's just ridiculous, and it shouldn't be that way. And I'm just over it. I'm really just absolutely over the whole thing, and I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm really excited about next gen flight sim, and so I thought I'd talk about it a little bit on here, and you'll probably hear me talk about it more later. I think it's a really exciting thing that we're getting into, and I think it's going to be awesome, once we get it done. So if you want to know more about it, and I'll try to remember to put a link down below, but knowing me, I'll probably forget because I pretty much always forget to put links down below. But if you're interested and you want to know more about it, it's www.nextgenflightsim.com, and there's no T on the word next. It's NEX, nextgenflightsim.com. Check it out over there. Take a look at the forums. And if you're like me, you want to see something new, you want to see something better, you want to, there's lots of things missing from your flight sim that you think, just you know, not even counting performance at the moment, they have a section on their forums where you can go in and make suggestions for what you'd like to see in the next gen flight sim. So take a look over at their website. I think it's fantastic, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, enough about that. We're parked here. Let's go ahead and go through our shutdown checklist real quick. Taxi lights need to come off, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Taxi lights off. Parking brake is set. APU generator. Oh, we forgot to start the APU when we landed. Awesome, right? I think fires up in like 2 seconds on this aircraft, so we can turn the generator on now. Gen 1 and 2 off, and then the engine fuel levers both need to go to cut off. There's 1 and 2 both cut off. Seatbelt signs off. It says beacon lights off, but I'm going to tell you that's incorrect. Okay? Beacon lights need to stay on as long as there's power on the aircraft, even if it's just the batteries. So guess what? Beacon lights are going to stay on. Everything else can go off, though. We can't do anything with the packs. Flight director switch is already off. Parking brake, we'll leave it there because we don't have chocks. And then when we're ready, we can shut down the APU and all that good stuff. So that is it for this flight. Let's go ahead and wrap this up here. Let's, you know what? While I got you here, let's just go ahead and, I hit the wrong button there. Let's go ahead and take care of ACARS right now. We were scheduled for 2 hours and 10 minutes. It took us 2 hours and 1 minute, so I'd say that's pretty good. End the flight there. It is parked at a gate. It's just not registering this as a gate, but that's okay. And that might get a flag on our PIREP, but it doesn't mean it'll be disapproved. It just means it might need to be approved by an individual rather than auto-approved. No big deal. File the PIREP. It's good to go. Close this out because we don't need it anymore. Off you go. Have a nice day. And that leaves us with but one thing to do other than taking our look outside, because I like to do that. This is Denver, ladies and gentlemen. And see, there's that chop I'm talking about. Why is that choppy? Why isn't, I mean, it's a white texture. Why, there it goes. Now finally the paint shows up, right? You see what I'm talking about? You see how choppy it is? It's not overly choppy, but there shouldn't be any chop in there. Not with this system I got. I'm telling you, this system is high end. I mean, you could go a little better than what I got, but not by much. So anyway, we're done here. Let's hop over to the website real quick, wrap things up over there, and call this flight done. See you in a minute. Okay, here we are, ladies and germs, back on the website, and as predicted, it looks like our pilot report has not been approved yet. That doesn't mean it won't be auto-approved, might just be taking a few minutes, but let's just take a quick look at our flight here. Bam, hop in. Everything looks good here other than the fact that we're just awaiting for the approval. So once that kicks in, we'll be good to go on that. Otherwise, everything was good to go. We don't know what our profit percentage was, and we won't be able to until the PIREP is approved. So it just is what it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, we're going to get the information eventually. If you're overly concerned about it, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at this PIREP, you know, on a future video. I would say the next video, but this one will be posted next week, and I'll probably, hopefully, oh, there it is. It's already approved. See, we're down. Oh, little hiccup there. We're already down to 68 hours, so if I go back in there, it's approved. Oh, bam. See, and hey, that's a good good revenue. Oh, why do I have the hiccups all of a sudden? Enjoy. Just shy of 50%, so not too shabby. It is default CRJ, so we get what we get. And that, ladies and germs, boogers and girls, is the flight. We're done. That's it. That's all, no more. I'm going to hop off of here now. However, as always, if you haven't had the opportunity, please hop on over to my channel and subscribe. We are up to 190. And that, let me tell you, is exciting to me. I'm really excited to see it clear over 200, and then the next goal, I guess, will be 500. So really cool stuff. I appreciate everybody that's subscribed to my channel. Please give a thumbs up to the video as well. And as always, leave some comments below. Like I said, we did this flight. We took this little detour here because of some requests from you guys. So we're still continuing in the life of a virtual airline pilot. We're flying these flights for PVA, but that doesn't mean we can't go other places. You know, we took a little sidebar from that mission, and we're gonna go through with this, and then when that's done, we'll make our way back over to LA and take that next flight that you can see right here and continue on mission. So really excited about that, and yeah, we're just going to keep trucking forward, guys. So please put comments down below, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and let me know you care. Talk to y'all later. Have a great day.